When people think of American power, they picture aircraft carriers crossing oceans, stealth bombers flying overhead, or troops stationed around the world. But the greatest source of American influence isn't something you can see. It isn't a missile. It isn't a military base. It isn't even the White House. It's the US dollar. Every day, trillions of dollars move through banks, stock markets, and payment networks across the globe. Those invisible transactions finance trade, energy, technology, and investment. Together, they form the financial system that powers the modern world. For nearly 80 years, that system has revolved around one currency. But today, it faces its greatest challenge in decades. To understand whether the American century can continue, we need to examine three silent pillars that support it: the dollar, energy, and semiconductors. The dollar, the world's financial language. When the Second World War ended, much of Europe and Asia faced the enormous task of rebuilding. The United States emerged in a unique position. Its industries remained strong, its economy expanded rapidly, and it helped shape the post-war financial system. As international trade grew, the US dollar gradually became the preferred currency for global commerce. Governments held dollars as reserves. Banks settled international payments in dollars. Businesses signed contracts in dollars because buyers and sellers trusted its stability. Over time, the dollar became far more than America's national currency. It became the financial language of the global economy. Today, everything from oil shipments and commodity trading to aircraft purchases and international investments continues to rely heavily on the dollar. That gives the United States an economic advantage unlike any other, more than just money. Think of the global economy as a giant computer network. Countries are the users. Businesses are the applications. The dollar is the operating system running quietly in the background. Most people never notice it. But without it, global trade becomes slower, more expensive, and far more complicated. This is why replacing the dollar is so difficult. It's not simply about creating another strong currency. It would require rebuilding decades of financial infrastructure, banking relationships, and international trust. That is a far greater challenge than most people realize. The dollar's greatest strength isn't America's economy. It's confidence. Governments hold dollar reserves because they trust the system. Businesses use dollars because suppliers and customers around the world already accept them. Investors continue buying dollar-based assets because American financial markets remain among the deepest and most liquid on Earth. That trust wasn't built overnight. It took generations. But trust can slowly change. In recent years, several countries have expanded trade in their own currencies and explored alternative payment systems. These efforts remain relatively small compared with the dollar's global role, but they highlight an important reality. The biggest challenge to the dollar is unlikely to come from one rival currency. It would come from a gradual shift in global confidence over many years. For now, the dollar remains the backbone of global finance, but money alone cannot sustain a superpower. It can finance factories. It cannot power them. For much of the 20th century, America's greatest economic weakness was its dependence on foreign energy. Then a technological revolution changed everything. The United States didn't just reduce its dependence on imported oil, it became one of the world's leading energy producers. And that transformation reshaped the global balance of economic power, from oil dependence to energy power. Money may drive the global economy, but money alone cannot power factories, cargo ships, airplanes, or data centers. For over a century, that job has belonged to energy. For decades, this was America's greatest economic vulnerability. Despite having the world's largest economy, the United States relied heavily on imported oil. Conflicts in major oil-producing regions could send energy prices soaring, slow economic growth, and expose America's dependence on foreign supplies. The oil crises of the 1970s made that vulnerability impossible to ignore. America needed a long-term solution. It arrived in the form of two technological breakthroughs: horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing, better known as fracking. Together, these technologies unlocked vast reserves of oil and natural gas trapped inside shale rock, resources that had long been considered too difficult or too expensive to extract. Within little more than a decade, production surged across states like Texas, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, and New Mexico. The United States became one of the world's largest producers of both oil and natural gas. The transformation was remarkable. America didn't disconnect from global energy markets. Oil prices are still influenced by worldwide events, but it gained something every major power seeks: strategic flexibility. Energy became more than a resource, it became a strategic advantage. Energy still powers the modern world. It's easy to assume oil is becoming less important. Electric vehicles are growing in popularity. Renewable energy is expanding. Artificial intelligence dominates the headlines. Yet behind every modern economy is an enormous demand for energy. Cargo ships move global trade. Aircraft connect continents. Factories manufacture everything from steel to smartphones. Even AI relies on massive data centers that consume enormous amounts of electricity. The digital economy still depends on physical energy. Without reliable power, innovation comes to a halt. That is why energy security remains one of the foundations of economic strength. The shale revolution strengthened America's position, but history shows that every era of economic leadership is ultimately defined by technology. Steam powered the Industrial Revolution, electricity transformed the modern factory, computers reshaped the late 20th century. Now, artificial intelligence is beginning to redefine the 21st. And unlike oil, the most valuable resource in this new race isn't buried underground. It's measured in nanometers, inside tiny semiconductor chips. The next chapter of the American century won't be decided by oil fields alone. It will be decided inside semiconductor factories. The new strategic resource. If oil defined the 20th century, semiconductors may define the 21st. Almost every technology that shapes modern life depends on a tiny computer chip. Smartphones, satellites, electric vehicles, medical equipment, artificial intelligence. Even the world's most advanced military systems rely on semiconductors. Without them, the digital economy would simply stop. But building these chips is one of the most complex manufacturing processes ever developed. Design, manufacturing equipment, raw materials, and final production are spread across multiple countries. Many of the world's leading chip designers are American, while some of the most advanced manufacturing takes place in Taiwan. This global supply chain has become one of the most strategically important networks on Earth. Whoever leads it will hold a significant advantage in the technologies shaping the future. The AI race. During the Cold War, the world's greatest technological competition was the space race. Today, a different race has begun. Instead of rockets, nations are investing in artificial intelligence. Instead of competing to reach the moon, they are competing to build faster processors, larger AI data centers, and more powerful computing systems. Artificial intelligence could transform healthcare, manufacturing, scientific research, finance, and national security. But AI is only as capable as the chips that power it. That is why advanced semiconductors have become one of the world's most valuable strategic assets. The race is no longer just about writing better software. It's about controlling the technology that makes that software possible. For nearly 80 years, American economic leadership has rested on three foundations: the dollar, energy, and technology. Together, they helped shape what became known as the American century. But history never stands still. New economic powers are emerging. Technology is advancing at extraordinary speed. Competition is becoming more intense. The American century is no longer defined by overwhelming dominance. It is defined by the ability to adapt. The dollar still anchors much of the global financial system. The shale revolution has strengthened America's energy position. Its technology sector continues to drive innovation. Whether these strengths will be enough to maintain leadership remains one of the defining questions of the 21st century. Because the next global superpower may not be decided by the size of its army. It may be decided by who leads the world's financial system, who secures the energy that powers modern economies, and who builds the chips that power artificial intelligence. The 20th century was built on oil. The 21st may be built on silicon. The question is no longer whether the American century changed the world. The real question is whether America can reinvent that century before someone else writes the next chapter. Thank you for watching USMag. If you enjoyed this documentary, let us know your thoughts in the comments.